Hey everybody, welcome back to the K2N Online School. And before we start today, I want to thank you all so much for subscribing to us here on YouTube and supporting our K2N Online paddleschool.com. The website has been growing tremendously. We have over 200 videos detailing, outlining technique, race tactics, and other things, as well as offering customized training plans to help you reach your specific goals, video review to assess your technique and make sure that you are progressing properly, as well as offering other content like gear review, breaking down equipment and different types of boats. Thank you all so much for the support, and let's get right to it. Today, we want to talk about paddling and completing your paddle stroke. As we learn paddling, we try to break it down into very specific segments. Typically, we refer to this as the phases of the stroke. One of the downsides, though, is as we look at these specific segments, we begin to realize that some of them have more of an advantage in moving the boat when looking at them exclusively. Typically, the catch and power provide more propulsion forward for your vessel than, let's say, the exit or the recovery. The problem with this ideology is we have to look at it as a whole. When we take a paddle stroke, we break it down to 4 or 5 different sections, but it is one motion. With motion, each preceding movement helps with the next movement. If we remove certain aspects of that movement, the entire singular motion loses its effectiveness. I want this video to cover a broad range of different paddle disciplines with one prevailing ideology. So whether you're here for outrigger canoe, surfski, kayak, SUP, prone paddleboarding, whatever it is, this logic supersedes just paddling, and we can use any athletic dynamic motion as an analogy. So what happens is after the segmenting, we look at the catch and power and we think, man, we should just get right back to that, and we spend all of our time just thinking about those aspects of the stroke. What gets left behind is the exit phase. What completes the motion is how we follow through with dynamic motion. Exiting too soon or ineffective only hinders the power phase. A common coaching cue that you will hear out there is that you want to exit the blade before your hip, before your knee, before your ankle. The moment the blade tip touches water, it comes out of the water. And you can get into these extremes where you are not transferring any power at all to the water. So for our analogy, let's look at a punch. As we look at punches, right, we have this setup where we're going to be throwing the shoulder back. The power transfer is what's going to happen in the middle, and the follow through is completing this motion. Now, when we break that down, the setup and the power arguably is the most important part of power transfer if we had to choose after segmenting. The follow through itself, there's not a lot going on here. Why would I want to do this in a punch? This is ineffective by itself. When we break it down into these segments, this looks useless. The problem being is with that power transfer, the power itself relies on that follow through for that energy to properly transfer. If I aim and I end at the power phase each time, I have absolutely no power transfer here. With the follow through, I can effectively get that energy beyond that point. So by only going to this point, my power transfer is now only here. So I can transfer energy here, but now you have this very small release of energy. By following through, we can transfer so much more energy. Follow through in reverse with paddling, since we are pulling, this is what our exit phase begins to look like. Paddling being almost a punch in reverse, a lot of our energy is going to come from this follow through coming through the stroke. It is easiest to identify and selectively remove that aspect for the front part. As we think about it conceptually, yeah, the catch and the power, this is moving the boat. The exit's not helping all that much. We look at it as one full motion. It is crucial that you have an effective exit. The next fallacy you don't want to fall into is extremes. You don't have to commit to being extreme with the front part of the stroke or extreme with the back part of the stroke. Finding the balance between the two allows you to master and understand that full stroke movement. One of the reasons this coaching cue arises is because with new paddlers, they will lock into the back end of their stroke. As the paddle gets closer to them, it is a lot more comfortable. They have a little bit more leverages with moving their body, and they will try to stay in the water too long in the back. This is an extreme. When we're looking at race performance, most paddlers have gone beyond this point. So we don't need an extreme upfront coaching cue forcing paddlers to exit the blade 6 to 12 inches while it's still effective in the water. Removing that blade early only hinders your power transfer in the middle. The success of your power phase comes exclusively from the success of that full motion through the exit phase. If you remove the exit phase, you hinder the power phase. 100% of high-level paddlers, the blade will pass their body behind them. The energy is put into the water in front of them, but they still follow through with that and release at the end. Does this mean that you put the most amount of power in the exit and you scoop water to the moon? Absolutely not. But it still means that that blade is going to travel through that section of the water. Don't fear it. Don't try and release early because it only hinders your power. It only hinders your grip with the water, and it hinders how effectively you can move your vessel with your paddle stroke. So get out there on the water and take that full stroke. Don't be afraid to make that connection with the water as long as you can. Be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube. We will be trying to upload videos weekly, trying to get some more content out there for you guys. You can like us on Facebook, you can follow us on Instagram, you can check out the website K2N Online anytime for more media. Again, thank you guys so much for the support. I'm excited to be here on this platform and provide more information for you guys ongoing. We'll see you on the next video.